Hey, I need you to get out of here because I'm going to do a thing for about 40 minutes. Okay? I have to do it here. My dog's here too. Okay, so it seems like it's working okay. We got about a minute left. You got about a minute left. So there's some latency to this video. So it's going to be kind of hard sometimes to do question and answer. And I know a lot of times I move really quickly. So I'll make a point to slow down and take some time, okay? So it was pretty easy to get this up and running. Now, I have a couple of tools that I'd like to test, and that's why I wanted to get a few of you online tonight. The first tool is this digital tool. I'm going to open up a tab, and I'm going to go to GitHub. And it's this H. Neiman Digital. So there's a bunch of source code on top. But if you follow the link that I put on Blackboard, it will take you directly to the download section. So this is the download. That's basically the link that's on Blackboard. It'll download a zip file, you extract it, and then you can run it with anything Java. So you'll need to make sure you have Java, and it kind of talks about that. JRE 8 is required. Okay, so I already have a copy of Digital open, and I actually really think you guys are going to enjoy this a whole lot more than Quartus. So a simple go over on this is you have your components, you have an AND gate. For this next chapter, we're going to be talking flip-flops, so you can see that it's got an assortment of flip-flops. But if we were to come in here and build a very simple circuit, and I'm just going to kind of make this up, we'll see how this goes. You can see it caches your last selected right here. Let's see. I don't need to select that for wires. You can just click and it'll auto connect. So in Quartus, one of the biggest problems I think a lot of people have is it can be a real pain to connect those wires, and it can be a real fight. I think this tool makes it a little bit easier. What I found interesting about this is that it'll allow me to add a few things. I'm going to add a clock input. So a clock input is going to be a counter that constantly changes back and forth. So I'm just going to give it an A, B, C, D. So that circuit's designed. Now, it's going to make me name them. Okay. Shall have to configure that one a little bit more. So I'm going to start a clock. Then I'm going to change it at 1 hertz. On the board, we'd be using 2 megahertz, 3 megahertz, something along those lines. And we won't have to do that here. And I'm going to name this X. Let's see. Hop back over here. Okay, so I've got Christian, Connor, let's see, Andrew, Jonathan. Okay, so I've got you guys all present. I just wanted to come over here and check. I don't know if this is the best way to do things. Real quick, Would you guys prefer if I use something like a WebEx so we could talk back and forth? Or are you okay with just chatting with me down in this lower corner? Just post down there. And there's Juan. Just post down here in that bottom right hand corner in the chat and let me know. Like I said, if we do a WebEx, then you guys can talk back and forth. If I do it this way, you can just ask questions in the tab. I personally kind of like using YouTube, mainly because it puts it out there, so in 5 years I can look back at this and be like, oh, that coronavirus. Speaking of that, I hope everybody's doing okay and social distancing and doing everything they need to do. Anyway, we'll go back to the circuit real fast. Okay, so I've got the circuit pulled back up. Okay, so what this will allow me to do is to simulate the circuit. So you can see that A is clocking and it's working as intended. Turn that off. Even though this is still clocking, it's not activating that AND gate. So the other thing this will allow you to do is kind of get deep into some of this. So you guys probably would have really liked this for your last section, is build a K-map of the circuit. So you can find the solutions. So here the solution would be C, D, B, or B naught. So I found that pretty interesting. You can see it also simplifies the equation for us automatically. So I think this will be a really good tool. I actually think this will probably make it easier for you guys. So there's an example of the new software we're going to use. If anybody has trouble, be sure to email me. Let me know. The other piece of this is I've got this blackboard, okay? So it's one of these Wacom tablets, and I am not Khan Academy yet, but I've been trying to practice with it. It's really touchy. But what I did find interesting is it had a kernel module built into it directly. So if I come in here and I do, hold on, let me swap my colors real fast. If I come in here and I do but it gives us the ability to have a digital blackboard. So my plan is next week when we come back, I'll scan the exam and then I'll be able to write over it and solve the I'll solve the equations for the exams, you know, on paper. That way you can see them. I do have all the exams graded. I'll put them on Blackboard as soon as we're done tonight. I wanted to go over them all, but I wasn't exactly sure how well this would work. You know, you guys have heard me talk about how I like open source software. Sometimes it can be a pain. And one of the problems that I experienced with this was that the driver for the NVIDIA graphics card I have in this computer didn't support something called NV encode, which is basically a stream encoder for different file types. You guys might have heard of MP4, MPEG-4s. You know, you probably heard me talk about some of this in the past. Anyway, I've got to actually compile the code myself to make it work, and I just haven't had the opportunity to do that. So it looks like everybody is okay with doing a YouTube stream. I believe this stream will be saved on my channel, so you can come back and watch it later. Obviously, you're not going to come back and watch this one because it's not very informative. But, you know, later on there might be some things you might want to save. I'll be sure to create bookmarks and things like that and captions, so maybe that'll help out. Anyway, anybody have any questions for me? I know there's a lag, so it takes a little bit. How about this? To see how long the lag is, as soon as I say, now, post something. Yeah, so it's a solid minute. It's Janet Jackson's fault. Hey, Justin, welcome. Hey, so good deal that it's working. Okay, so there's everybody now saying that they've got it. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys your night back. Yeah, just everybody stay safe out there. Jonathan, okay. So on Blackboard, I will have the grades posted as soon as I get off this stream, okay? So they will be accurate and reflected correctly on Blackboard. And Jonathan, I believe it was you that handed in, was this you, Jonathan? This lab? This was Jonathan. So I've got your lab sitting actually right there in front of me. I'll make sure to get those done right now, okay? Let's see, what else? I'm sure this will work on your phones, not just your computer. So I think that's kind of a big benefit of this. But yeah, Jonathan, I got you. So has anybody got any other questions about grading or anything like that that I haven't caught up on? No, Justin, not really. We talked about the new software. It's going to be important. I'd recommend taking some time. It's really easy to install, and I think it's easier to use. Other than that, I'll let you guys go. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit me up on Patreon. Just kidding.